The one you to really enjoy the service. We're going to have lunch afterwards. Please stay around and really be able to commune, socialize with everybody. And then also at this time, we're everybody to please shut off your devices so there's no interruption. Enjoying this wonderful sermon. And at this time, I'd like for everybody to have a custom to greet each other. So please have this moment to greet each other.
Hi, Bushy, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Reverend Kim.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Mrs. Kim.
Hi.
And now we come to the time where we like to invite our Reverend Pastor, Reverend Shelton, to give us our morning service. Thank you.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Thank you, thank you. Great. Thank you. I'd just like to really today, I'd like to really share what I really felt when I attended the it's a National Assembly in Las Vegas. Thank you very much for sending me to the National Assembly to really experience this tremendous grace by listening to 3 days of my father's life course, which I didn't really expect. But Dr. Kim, basically, he really decided that spend the most of our time really learning, once again, Father's life course from our Reverend Kachi, who has been giving a lecture for the last 50 or 40, 50 years. And everybody listened, and it was really eye-opening. I cried many times throughout that 3 days of the sermon. And there I understand I have something that I really wanted to share with everyone today and the next sermon and perhaps another sermon, because it's a content is so much, but there's a couple points that I really wanted to share because this is what I experienced it. And so I'd just like to share that with you. Before I'm going to mention about my title is here already, but I just want to tell you, I just want to share with you this testimony. Thank you very much for everyone that you've been supporting Mrs. Tanimoto for a long time. Then you know that Mrs. Tanimoto, after she received that kidney, and with the grace of God, now she's been going through a lot of her challenging time because of amputation of the fingers, because of infections. It's been going many years and many months and days of the trials. And thank you very much for your prayer. But because of her faith and her challenge, her perseverance and her more uplifting and sort of spirit that I think many times she overcame, just that wound that she had infected was almost to heal, but it always, last 5%, last moment, again, is reinfected again. And every time, and repeating this sort of couple times, and every time we pray for it. And but recently, but I can say for sure now, her infection and her wound has been healed. Has been healed. So please give us a little praise. Thank you very much, Mrs. Tanimoto. Now, I just want to share with you a story. It's something that I feel that kind of resonate with it in relation to returning resurrection of your ancestors. Have you seen a Black Panther? Yes. Black Panther was not enough, but they've been repeating again and again. It is about their relationship with the ancestors, ritual, and the tradition. And bringing up this incredible beauty of African culture. But ancestor, it is so much in their part of their lives. And if you take a look at Black Panther, is their city of Uganda. Uganda was the most advanced city in the world. Incredibly, highly advanced city, beyond our imagination. But within that is a beautifully connected and harmonized with the tradition and ancestors. So, returning ancestors, returning resurrection. What I'm talking about is she's began to reading the divine principle. She's always been. And she's always, we just like all of us, we try to understand divine principle intellectually. I try to, we're trying to prepare a lecture, for example. We're trying to give a lecture, trying to understand it so I can share with others, intellectually understand the content of divine principle. Have you ever really tried to catch it with your heart, your shimjong? Have you really tried to understand it? How can I apply it today? Am I doing it? Well, am I applying this in my life? God, what is it all about? trying to help me to understand his content, trying to catch the content with her. She began to do it, and that was probably 2 months ago. She began to read, but was trying to catch the content with her heart, trying to understand and asking God. Then she began to ask, and she began to sort of understand, oh, this is really applied to my life and every day. And then she felt the feeling that she should call her friends that has been not communicated for a long time because that was a simple misunderstanding on her friend's side. But she had not contacted, but she felt she should contact her. So recently she sent email out, and they came back from her friend, and her friend realized that was all her side of misunderstanding, and everything was resolved because she simply sent a email. So she kind of followed the voice within. Where this voice is coming, is it her? I don't think so. It is really about the ancestors who really cares about each one of us. Your ancestor loves you. Your ancestor wants you to be happy. Your ancestor wants you to live in a better life. But we need to communicate with your ancestor is through your heart. Lena recently went to, with Linato together, visited Ground Zero, 9/11, Ground Zero recently. Currently, there is a beautiful peace tower that has been built, a beautiful waterfall, and stone wall all surrounding the waterfall with the name graved into the stone. Everybody pay attention to the beautiful waterfall, but not many people pay attention to the people, names of the people who perished their life at that 9/11. Lena and Lina were just standing out there and looking at the people, looking into the waterfall, but never really pay attention to the names on the stone. And then Lena just kind of looked. There's a couple names next to her. There were 5 Japanese names.
Wow.
I never knew it. I never knew there were 5 people. Five people from Japan actually perished their life and died during the 9/11. Why right next to her? Why right next to us? 2,000 over names all around, but she was just standing right next to 5 names, and right there, she collected the names and she let me know about it. Why? Because they want, those 5 Japanese people wanted to know that they were there. They were there. They were there. Perhaps they got the cup of coffee, walk into it, and say, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Hasegawa. I don't know, Good morning. And that morning, he perished his life. He didn't even know. He didn't even realize it. Maybe he was caught in that fire, couldn't get out. But he wanted everybody to know he was there. Especially to somebody, fellow Japanese girls. Returning resurrections of evil. I'm sorry, I don't make this too much time. It's already 8 minutes to pass. Oh my God. All right, now I'm just going to go right into it. My talk today is that I received the new light through the cross of my Savior. This is what I have learned from the 3 days of the Father's life testimony, Father Moon's life course. And then, let's see, right? Let me see. Can you flip this? Sorry. Can you do that? All right, good. Now, I'm sorry. All right, good. All right, thank you. I just wanted to share with you, I want to show these photos here. That is the photo of the father visiting, Father Moon, Mrs. Moon, both actually visited to the tomb of his mother, his parents, back in 1991, November. So there is a photo that I wanted to show you. The Father Moon and looking down to the tombstone of his mother, and then his expression was not really, he was looked pretty serious. And his sister was right beside him. There were a couple of staffs right next to him. But his sister was right behind him and came up to the tombstone, and then she was crying. Mom, your son is here. Young is here right now. Please come up from the gravestone and speak to him. You know how much you want to see him, all right? Please come up and please speak to him. She was crying. Right next to Father Moon, standing there, and then not even a drop of tears. So, what do you think? Why he did not cry? I know it's kind of hard to see it though, but here it is. He was at the tombstone right there. I want to just share with you as we try to explain this concept. This is a concept about the Hyojong and Chonjong. As you can see, can you see some sort of difference between what we have learned in Divine Principle? We have read it, we studied it, we saw diagrams. Love comes from God as a heart of a Chonjong. It's the more than a heart, it's a heart. Hearts involve not just love and joy, but it involves this pain, suffering, but also disappointments, and in many ways, perseverance. And there are so many feelings inside of a heart of a Shinjong of God. But the thing is, okay. Okay, but the thing is, this arrow is actually deep. The arrow is passing through the circle here. It's inside of a circle. Why is that so? Why the arrow is inside a circle? When Reverend Tachi at the workshop, when he was explaining, he was asking us why this arrow is actually into the circle instead of stop outside the circle line, borderline. Why the arrow is actually inside of the circle? And why this arrow is coming back to the inside of God's circle? It's not my mistake. I did it intentionally. Put an arrow inside of the circle. It is because of the amount of your heart you invested. It is beyond our imagination. God's heart is invested towards an ideal person who can able to receive and understand God's heart. Chonjong. God poured in his heart. You know, sometimes the parents are going through many hardships and trying to work hard, trying to buy food and everything for ends meet, trying to provide all the needs for the children for growing up, but yet understand the heart of God. Parents are always, understand the heart of parents. Parents are always smiling, providing every needs that the children have. But parents never shared how difficult their life is to work 12 to 13 hours a day. Trying to make ends meet and providing all the needs and the food for the children. But how possible parents can share that pain, difficulty to children who are still growing, young, never understand. By sharing the content, children cannot even bear the content, never understand. But parents are constantly smiling, giving a joy. Don't worry about it. Everything's here for you. I can provide you this. I can take you to school. I can send you to school. All the needs that parents can provide without really sharing of deep inside. Many times we do a meditation. There are many ways we can experience the love of God. But how many people can really experience there is even deeper inside of God's heart was unexplained and cannot be shared with others. Father Moon, the first time I believe, I never heard for somebody besides Father Moon ever experiencing the heart of God, and He is willing to give it back to that feeling back to God, even greater amount, even greater than what God gives. And He will give it back to God even more. And what happened is that God wanted to give even more. Thank you. Is there anything I can do? I want to help you. I want to be with you. I want to share with you. But I had to make you go through this difficult path.
I don't want it, but nobody can understand. If you're the one that can understand my heart, that I want to. Yeah, I don't want it, but I have to. Don't worry about it, God. Don't worry about it, but let me walk into this path for you. For you. It's unstoppable relationship. It's constantly growing. It's not like I scratch your back and I just scratch me back. It's not like I give you this and give you back. Or I'm going to help you a little bit once a week or twice a week. That's not that at all. It is constantly, every 24 hours or 7 days. Is there anything I can do? I want to do it.
아주.
This is the heart of what the Father has been explained to me and all of us. I kind of forgot about it. That's why Father says, and now, true Father had a dream that he wanted to fulfill before he went to spirit world. He had a dream of visiting his parents' grave at his hometown of Georgia after the reunification of North and South Korea, and after establishing Cheongju-go. It is the heart of Father that he could not cry. Reason that he could not cry, it is because of this. I'm still working for God and humanity, but someday I will come again to visit your grave with the sound of utmost joy from North and South Korea. That was my promise in front of the tombstone. I will surely keep my commitment to them before my death. Before his death, he wanted to see this North and South reunification of Korea. Then he would visit his parents' tombstone, and he would share his contents with his parents. That was his dream. He promised it once again in front of the tombstone. Why? Why this much desperate? Why? What happened to him and his mother, or with his parents? What happened to him, Father Long, and his relationship with his mother? What happened after separating for 40 years, before 40 years of separation? What happened to him? What happened to his mother? Why is he so desperate to share this content with his mother? To explain it is I really have to explain the providence with Jesus. What happened to Jesus as a Messiah? Messiah did not have to gather his own flocks or building his own congregation. Everything has been prepared by God. God prepared 95%. He prepared the John the Baptist. He prepared the congregation. He prepared the Roman Empire. He prepared Israel. He prepared all the leadership ready to receive Jesus. Especially John the Baptist was prepared to receive Jesus. Point is, humanity has to establish a foundation of faith and a foundation of substance to receive a Messiah. And I believe they did. John the Baptist and congregations, humanity has prepared, laid a foundation of faith and a foundation of substance, so that they are built the foundation of Messiah to receive the Messiah. However, at the last moment, when John the Baptist received the dove from the sky, proclaiming that here is a Messiah to the entire congregation, and then that moment, position switched. Now the John the Baptist became the servant. Until then, Jesus was serving the congregation of John the Baptist was serving a servant position. Serving, praying, shedding tears, serving, so that John the Baptist understands and knows that who is, or asking Jesus, who are you? It is a human responsibility to ask. It is their responsibility to pray and find out who was it Jesus. It was the John the Baptist's responsibility to understand and ask, who are you? I know I gave you this blessing, but who are you anyway? You're my cousin, but besides that, who are you? But he never asked. But he kicked Jesus out of the congregation. Second providence is this. Jesus himself had to create his own foundation. Means that he could not stand on the foundation as a Messiah, but he had to play the role of John the Baptist, and he had to build his own congregation. In other words, he had to create his own foundation of faith, 40-day fasting, and a foundation of substance, gathering of flocks, creating a congregation. Then he can stand as a Messiah. But what happened? Even though one person could not unite with Christ. Satan's accusation is this. Can you?
or you're able, if you're the Messiah, that you must love your disciples more than I. If you're the Messiah, you must love your enemy more than I. If you're the Messiah, then you cannot. It's easy for you to love your wife and children. It's very easy. But what about others, neighbors? Love your neighbors, right? With all your heart. Love your God with all your heart, all your mind and heart. Yeah? But are you? Messiah, are you? That's the question Satan always asks. Betrayal of disciples. He had to go the way of the cross in order for him to start. That was the second providence. And third providence is to spiritual providence, the starting of Christianity through the cross. He loved his enemy on the cross in the most difficult place. That's why the beginning of Christianity. This Christianity has started from this point on. But I'm going to share with you later, more than a cross is the living cross. I'm going to share with you. Cross is incredible, but more than a cross is a living cross. You carry your cross and walk as you live, but going through, seemingly you're going through the death every single day. Amen. But still love your enemy. Still love your people. Still invest your 24 hours and 7. Love somebody, all your heart, all your mind. It's difficult. We're going to share with you the life of the Father Moon. Life of Father Moon is the Providence of Restoration Korea, Center of Christianity in the Korean Peninsula from 1945 1952. God prepared everything for the Messiah, Lord of Second Coming. It's the final anchor who are able to go into establishing the kingdom of God. We call it Chongyu Go on the earth. Now the preparation, God had prepared. The allied nation, USA, England, and France won the victory in World War II, surrounding Korea with a missionary from USA coming to Korea, preaching the word. And then within Korea, there were certain Christian congregations. There were Christian congregations who are sort of lost their faith because they were forced to believe in Shintoism while Japan has been occupying Korea for more than 40 years. They were forced to believe in Shintoism, forced to change their religion, and many did. Or many actually pretended, but they went underground. But there were some Christians received the revelation, Messiah come on the earth, not from a cloud. Right. Those Christians are waiting for the Messiah, returning the Lord in Korea to save their nation. They never give up their faith in spite of their facing life and death every single day. So Father found Reverend Bedmund Kim as the one person that he can work with. Reverend Bedmund Kim is playing the role as a John the Baptist and his congregation. I believe that he established, Bedmund Kim and his congregation, established a foundation of faith and a foundation of substance. That's why they were able to receive the Messiah. They built the foundation. All right, Father Moon searched the place. He prayed and found this congregation is it. Reverend Bedmund Kim and entered into the Israel monastery. Father came to his church 1945 in October. Here in the church. So by Reverend Bedmund Kim, as in play the role of John the Baptist, accepting Father Moon, and then what happened is Reverend Bedmund Kim we have a wonderful relationship with Sun Man Rhee, who was the president at that time. His wife was American. Christian, both of them Christian. And America's coming to Korea and preaching the Word of God. So Christian foundations, once they united with the Father and Reverend Kent together and able to unite with and able to work with the Reverend President of the Korea, and then able to work with it's easy to connect the United States, England, and France who has an amazing Christian foundation. So word of Messiah brought the Lord of Second Coming can be easily spread within 7 years
The mission of the Lord's second coming is to eradicate it, or how you say, engrafting the lineage from Satan's lineage to God's lineage, providing a blessing to humanity, teaching a truth, not starting his own congregation. It's our responsibility. It is our responsibility to ask, knock, and seek to find. Amen. That is our responsibility. So what happened? What happened? What happened when he entered into this church? First several months, Father Moon prayed that Reverend Beck Moon Kim will ask him who he is. He's praying in tears and every single day asking, please, Reverend Kim will come to me and ask me who I am. Yeah. And meanwhile, Reverend Kim received the revelation that you are the Lord of the world, or you are the King of Solomon. He received it. Now Reverend Kim suddenly decided to bless Father Moon and asking congregation, come around. Here is this young man. I want to bless him as a king of for the crown of King Solomon. And every congregation blessed it. It came around Father Moon and blessed him. He didn't know what that exactly was, why he was doing it, but he received the revelation. That was the moment the position changed. Now, Reverend Kim asked, who are you? Why I received this revelation? Now I have time for me to serve you, unite together with you. Here, this is all my congregations is for you, and we want to work with you. And Father simply explained the teaching of truth, conducting of blessings, spreading Korea to the rest of the world within 7 years. But it didn't happen. Therefore, and by the way, Father Moon had a wonderful first wife and children. Wonderful baby boy. And wonderful, beautiful wife. They were living very happily together at the age of 25. Young couple with wonderful baby. However, Satan always accused. It's easy for you to love your wife and child. But what about others? Are you the Lord's second coming? And you have to love. It's easy for you to love your own family. That's why he cannot love his wife or child only. Or he has to love more of others. So what happened? Due to the failure to establish a foundation for the Messiah on a people and national level based on man's Christian spiritual group in South Korea, I needed to restore the foundation for the Messiah on a people and national level based on women's Christian spiritual group in North Korea. I brought some rice and baekjeon. I put it on the truck. On the way home, I received a command from heaven saying, cross over 30 years parallel. I immediately departed on May 27, 1946, and arrived Pyongyang on June 6. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Can you? You're on the way. The barn is food and rice needed for a child and wife. He went out to shop, went out to the supermarket to shopping. And on the way back, he received a command from God that you have to go to North Korea. There are prepared, the spiritual groups are waiting for you. You must go. Now, don't leave. Don't just stop by your home. Just go. So why he didn't stop by? Why he didn't stop by home to say goodbye? At least, right? I mean, I would probably tell him, I don't want to go to North Korea. I just wanted to deal with it within Seoul, somewhere around. Maybe not Reverend Kim to somebody, Reverend Park, maybe Reverend somebody. Reverend John, there must be somebody within another in soul. I can meet somebody, but heaven called you to go to North Korea. I mean, what would you do? Would you like to just, at least, say goodbye to your wife? This created a lot of controversy, right? I mean, if you can put your shoes with Mrs. Park or Mrs. Moon or Mrs. Park. I mean, can you imagine? She's waiting for her husband to come back with the rice. He didn't show up. Where did he go? Not just one day, not just a week. He's in a missing persons list. My husband got lost in somewhere. What happened to him? He was killed? Where did he go? Not just 1 month, not just 1 year, not just 2 years. Literally, he was a husband for 6 years or 7 years until reunion, with any communication between. What is this? But I understand in the heart of pure John, God have to send him out there so that he can find another spiritual group. Travel is 9 days, literally, all the way to Pyongyang. Woo. Started with second providence, when a foundation for the Messiah on the people and national level was not established through the unity between the John the Baptist and Jesus, in order to pioneer the path of the salvation for humankind, Father Moon started to work on a providence for the foundation for the Messiah. Himself had to start his own foundation. He had to pray. He had to do his foundation of faith, and he had to establish his own foundation of substance so that he can create a foundation for Messiah. Anyway, he's supposed to be with a whole bit. There were several prepared groups, but none of them could accept him. None of them recognized him. They're all prepared by God. Messiah come on the earth. You will meet the Messiah. But nobody ever recognized this young man. You know what's exactly what it feels like when you're rejected? Once you're welcomed by the church. I don't know if has anybody visited the Christian church in the past? And they welcome you at the first. And then they'll kick you out once they found out you are Moonies. Have you ever experienced that? They literally ask you to leave, never come back again. Or they give you a very, in the beginning they were very happy to receive you. Oh, right, welcome! Oh, praise God! Come to my church, yeah! And Japanese missionaries, yeah! And then 1 month later, can you just come to my office, please? You can't come here anymore. Sorry, but you can't come here. I didn't know you guys are following Reverend Moon. Sorry, I can't come here. Why? You've been receiving us so well, and I saw you smiling. You loved me and you loved us and you welcomed us. And why ask us to leave now? I'm sorry, you can't come here anymore. Thank you very much. Thank you. On the way back to my home with this 5 Japanese mission, we cried for 2 hours inside of a car. Why? Why we were rejected? Why? Why people change their attitude from a day and night? Why? Why? Because it's a sin that I believe in and following the Father Moon. Is that sin? What kind of crime I committed? What kind of crime you have committed? For no reason you were kicked out of the church. But that's the only way we can understand what exactly sort of we feel like our father was kicked out of the church. every time he walked in. With the hope he had, walked into the church. He was welcome at the first. Then he kicked him out. Sorry. It is just like this. When Satan is so precise, when parents are poor or getting old, the house is dragging the water leak from the ceiling, and children running around like crazy, and there is an elder person, oldest in the family, who really understands the heart of the parents. Parents went to the evil banker, borrowing your money, and fixing a house. But hard to pay off the debt. Interest rate is so much. The banker is trying to evade your house, taking your property away, taking your house away, taking your business away. That's the sort of motivation of banker, some evil ones. And asking, the bankers come and, you know what, you have to pay now. You got to pay your debt right now. Right now. Otherwise, I'm going to take your house, I'm going to take your car, and literally for Satan, I'm going to take your life. Messiah, I'm going to take your life if you don't pay me. You have to pay a debt. You lend me money. Of God, you lend money from me. Now your son have to pay for that debt. Okay. Talk to my son, please. Hey, Rabbi Mon, you gotta pay your debt. You owe so much that you gotta pay. You got to pay. I don't want to pay. No, he had to say, yes, I will pay. Hey, wow. How to pay? Best way to pay is to go to jail. Father won't discover. Go to prison is the best way to pay the debt. He went to jail for 6 times. And that was the 4 times he went to Hunan camp. And so I had to explain more about the Hunan camp. That was the best way for him to pay the debt. All the debt that he owns was not because it's fault, was not God's fault, but have to fix the house, fix the world, fix the people. People have consistently made a lot of mistakes in the past that have to pay a debt all at once. It's a lot of big debt they have to pay for. That he had to find his own 12 disciples in this Hunan prison is a death camp. He was sentenced in exactly 70 years from now. 1948, April 7th. Today's what? April 8th. Almost exactly 70 years ago. He was sentenced to go to Hunan camp. I want to put yourself in the same shoes when you're sentenced to jail. Are you happy? No. Nobody. 77 men sharing one room. We've been doing with square 12 feet and 18 feet, which is like very small, little teeny space. 18 feet and 12 feet, width and height, 18 feet and 12 feet. 37 people fits in that. I don't know. Can you? All of us can fit in this room. 12 feet is 18 feet. It's just like here. And one bucket. They don't really have a nice toilet stool, but bucket in the middle of it. 1.7 small rice bowl a day with the salt water with the radish leaves for soup. You're talking about lunch for one little teeny rice bowl and dinner for 0.7 teeny little rice.